Hi friends, welcome back. My name is Elias and you're watching Garden Forage. I live in Northern Virginia, zone 7A, and we finally got our first frost on November 14th and the temperature went down to 30 degrees. This video is about what you can grow in the winter without any protection in zone 7. Let me show you some of the vegetables that I am growing right now in my front lawn and in my side yard without any protection, and they will grow through the winter and produce food almost through the entire winter. Sometimes if I get a heavy frost in February, I will lose some of these, but I start replanting on March 1st. So you can almost grow year round in zone 7A. This bed right here produces the most amount of food for me. This right here are turnip greens, and I grew these last year for the first time, and they are very tasty. If you've ever had a mustard green or radish greens, they kind of taste similar to that. They're a little spiky, so not the best for a salad, but very good for using as a sauté vegetable. Right over here, this is one of my favorite vegetables for the winter because it's very chunky and very meaty. This is a bok choy, and even though it is so cold, it is trying to flower right now. So I need to take this flower stalk. This has got a weird name, and it's called winter rape, and it's more like a collard green, and I use it just like a collard green. And you can see here I have been harvesting some of the leaves already and eating them as I go, and all you have to do is harvest the outer leaves, and the center of the plant will continue to grow all winter long. Right next to it I have my radishes, and my radishes have been in the ground for a long time already, and you can eat these probably right now, but I'm trying to save them for Thanksgiving dinner. So I will dig them out soon and take them to my mom's house so we can have dinner on Thanksgiving, which is next week, believe it or not. I grow herbs all winter long as well. So here are 4 that do very well in our cold climate. One of my favorite herbs is thyme. It does really well and it gets really low to the ground, and it's able to avoid most of the frost. This has been in the ground for 2 years now. This is its 3rd season. I also keep a lot of chives because chives do really well in our area and they come back every year. This will probably die back in January, but will come back in the spring. Check out this rosemary. This rosemary does really well, and as long as you put it in a sunny location, it will continue to grow. My aunt gave me a little plant for this 3 years ago, and I put it into the ground here, and it is doing quite well, and we'll be eating some of this with our turkey next week. Sage does really well in our zone if you can give it a sunny location. So all of these are in my front lawn so that they can do really well. So I have purple sage here and some variegated sage. Check out how beautiful this is. And this has been through ice storms, snowstorms, and it comes back every single year. You can also grow lacinato kale or dinosaur kale. This has been in the ground since the spring, and I have been eating a lot of leaves from the bottom up. And you can see here the stem has gotten pretty long, and this plant is probably 3 foot tall, and I'm still eating a lot of it, and it does really well in our zone. This one will probably make it through the entire winter, and I'll be able to be eating it all the way into the spring. Check out this beautiful pomegranate tree I am growing here, and it's had a few frosts already, and it's losing some of the leaves because it is deciduous. So it will lose all of its leaves, but hopefully it will come back next year and give me some pomegranates. Right over here I have my garlic patch, and it got really big really fast. So I'm hoping that it doesn't affect the production, but I'm pretty hopeful that it's gonna be fine. I have over 150 heads of garlic in the ground right now. You can also grow artichokes in zone 7. Artichoke plants are biennials, meaning they grow 1 year and they produce flowers the 2nd year. This one right here is the glove artichoke, and it's supposed to produce within 1 year, but this is my 2nd year growing them. I have that one right over there by the fire hydrant, and that one took 2 seasons to produce. So I planted that one in the spring of 2021. It grew, and then it was able to overwinter, and it put out a flower this spring, and it produced beautiful artichokes. And I have some of those seeds for sale if you want some on Etsy. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to purchase some of those seeds. You can also grow a lot of kale, and this is red Russian kale. This red Russian kale, I have been saving seeds for this red Russian kale for about 8 years now. Kale is not a favorite green for a lot of people, but it does really well in the cold weather, and if there is nothing else, there's always kale that you can eat from the garden. I'm also overwintering some carrots here, and you can see that they're doing quite well, and they probably won't produce any significant carrots this year, but this will be a very early crop in the spring because they will be the first to get growing, and I'll harvest them around March, April, and then reseed this bed with other edibles. I also have interplanted some garlic in here, and you can see them starting to shoot up. Surprisingly enough, these were planted on the same date as those beds right over here, but they are from different farmers, so they're definitely different varieties. And it is just slightly poking above the soil level there. You can see another tiny little one there, and they're cool. They're coming up, so hopefully we'll get to eat some garlic from here in the spring. These right here are parsnips, and I planted these in the spring, and now I just left them in the ground so that I can harvest them in the winter time so I can make some delicious stews and soups. On this bed right here, I am growing some cabbages, and I am not sure if they'll be able to form a head before it gets too cold, but that's okay. I have successfully overwintered cabbages in our zone, and they should be able to produce a head very early on in the spring, and that's when we'll harvest them and then replace this again with other vegetables. This is not a vegetable that should be growing right now, but it is growing. This is a tomato, and it has survived 2 frosts already, and you can see these leaves were hit by the frost, but most of the plant is still alive and well. I don't think this tomato plant is going to make it through this week because it's supposed to be quite cold, but it is so cool that it is growing even after all those frosts we've had. You all probably know this area quite well because I've been doing a lot of videos about this area. This is my arugula patch, and I have been hitting this patch really hard already. I've been sauteing it, and I have been eating it as salads. And very soon I'm going to harvest that big cabbage back there because it is looking like it's ready. The one cabbage over here has been hit pretty hard by the white cabbage moth. And those are little green worms, and they eat all of the leaves, and they eat the center leaves, which are crucial for the development of the cabbages and other brassicas. So I just come out here and pick them out and just squish them. This beautiful brassica right here was gifted to me by a subscriber, and this is tree colors, and they're supposed to be perennial to our zone. And I've placed it right up against the house so that it gets a little bit of radiant heat at night from the brick wall. And I am hoping it makes it through winter so I can save some seeds and hopefully get a cold tolerant plant that gets acclimatized to my zone, and I can grow collard greens year round. Lastly, you guys saw me plant this patch a few days ago with lettuces and cilantro, and the cilantro is doing okay, but the lettuces have taken off. The lettuces are doing quite well, and they have acclimatized themselves, and I think they're starting to grow a little bit again. And the cilantro is staying a little bit small and nimble. The cilantro will probably remain nice and small all through the winter. In the spring, it will start growing very fast, and that's when I harvest most of my cilantro, and I package it into little ice cubes, and I freeze it, and I use it like that all season long. If you don't have a lot of space, you can also grow a lot of food on containers, even in the wintertime. Here, I have carrots, garlic, and green onions growing, and you can grow all of these items all year long in these containers. So if you live in an apartment, you can have a small garden on your balcony. I hope that I have inspired you to plant some winter vegetables, and now you know that you can be growing vegetables year round here in Zone 7A. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.